We've been in Atmosphere since we moved out to Oak Park about 2.5 years ago. And when we bought our house, right, we budgeted, we looked at the spreadsheet. I'm a numbers person, and we essentially bought this house knowing that we were not going to designate any of our income to give towards the church at that point in time. We were house poor, as I like to say.
For me, it was, let's just do 10%, rip off the Band-Aid. And I think Justin is more of that slow, cautious person that said, no, let's make sure we can afford our home. We just bought it. And then try to take steps to tithe 10% of our income.
Yeah, it's funny. Every time we've had conversations about tithing over the last 2 years, she usually says, let's just do it. And I pull out the spreadsheet and I say, well, what are you giving up? And we've never really come to this place of agreeing to tithe, right? We'll try and increase a small percentage each year and try to increase our giving every year. But we've really struggled to get beyond that like 3 to 5% range. In February, we bumped up our giving a little bit and ended up getting an unexpected promotion a few weeks later, maybe a month or so later. And we made a conscious effort to give a portion of that to the church. I think we went from maybe like 3% to 5%, but we're both really had it on our hearts to get to full tithe. And I think with enough back and forth, the rip off the Band-Aid approach finally got to me, and we came to an agreement and said, all right, let's do it. Let's see what happens. And the crazy part is that for the last year or so, I've been closing out my father's estate back east. And one of the things that we had to do to close out his estate was to sell his home. And unfortunately, my dad is at the point in his life where he needs to be in a nursing home full time. And he is on state-provided health care. So when we applied for the state aid, the state put a lien on his home. And my elder law attorney, she was very clear. She's like, as soon as the lien goes on your father's home, you will get zero money from the sale of it. And it finally closed. She said, hey, I'm working with the county, hold the money. She goes, don't do anything with it because you're ultimately gonna have to write a check to the state. 2 days after we changed our financial giving to a full tithe, I got an email from my dad's attorney. And she told me I owed the state $200. And I said, no problem, $200 is insignificant when you're paying nursing home bills. And I said, but hey, what about the sale of dad's home? Like, where am I gonna write the check to for the proceeds from the sale of the home? She said, no, you owe $200 for the sale of the home. She goes, the rest is your dad's and yours.
And the attorney had said in her 13 years of serving as an elder attorney, she'd never seen this happen, where there was some formulation that worked out in our favor where we got to keep the proceeds of the sale.
To have it be 2 days after we decided to tithe, I mean, it's overwhelming.
The verse that we keep hearing is Philippians 4:19, that God takes care of all of our needs through Jesus. And it's true. I don't think we've ever really had that, not belief in God's stories, but really seen them so powerfully in our lives. And then looking back, you say, God was absolutely there. And he's here in this story too.
And what this experience has really taught us, right, is even if you're a spreadsheets and a numbers kind of person, right, there is a bigger plan for you. There is someone who will provide for you and your family, and just that trust, right, and the way we saw God acknowledge that we made that commitment to him. Of course, I'll still keep my spreadsheets every now and then, right, but I'm much more inclined to lean into trust and know that I have a God who will provide for my family and I.